Imagine a world where the very air you breathe carries the weight of invisible, dangerous particles. Picture cities where towering structures, designed to shield against catastrophe, are constantly on the brink of disaster. Now, envision the staggering amounts of money poured into these structures, money that could have transformed entire industries or saved countless lives. This is not the plot of a dystopian novel but a stark reality of nuclear energy, a force once hailed as humanity's savior. As we stand on the brink of a new energy era, the promise of nuclear power's clean, limitless potential seems to crumble under the weight of its own complexities. Behind the facade of efficiency and progress lurks an expensive, perilous reality that defies the dreams of a sustainable future. This is the story of a technological titan whose shine is dimmed by the shadows of its inherent dangers and staggering costs. Buckle up as we delve into the true cost of nuclear energy, unearthing a reality that many prefer to keep hidden in the dark corners of industry and policy. Nuclear energy, often touted as a clean and efficient alternative to fossil fuels, has been a contentious topic for decades. Proponents argue that it is a necessary component of our energy mix to combat climate change. However, a closer examination reveals that nuclear energy is fraught with issues that make it an impractical and unsafe option for the future. This essay argues that nuclear energy is very expensive, extremely dangerous, and not a sustainable energy source by examining the economic, environmental, and long-term sustainability concerns associated with nuclear power. Economic costs. High initial investment. One of the primary economic arguments against nuclear energy is the prohibitively high initial investment required for the construction of nuclear power plants. Unlike renewable energy sources such as wind or solar, which have seen significant reductions in costs over the past decade, the costs of building nuclear power plants have remained high and even increased in some cases. The construction of a single nuclear plant can cost billions of dollars and take decades to complete. For instance, the Vogtle Electric Generating Plant in Georgia, USA, has experienced numerous delays and cost overruns, with the estimated total cost ballooning to over $28 billion. Ongoing maintenance and operational costs. In addition to the initial construction costs, nuclear power plants incur significant ongoing maintenance and operational expenses. These include the costs of regular safety inspections, security measures to protect against potential terrorist attacks, and the management of radioactive waste. These costs can be exorbitant, making nuclear energy an economically unviable option compared to the rapidly declining costs of renewable energy technologies. Decommissioning costs. Decommissioning a nuclear power plant at the end of its life cycle is another substantial expense. The process involves safely dismantling the plant, managing the radioactive materials, and restoring the site to its original condition. Decommissioning costs can rival or even exceed the initial construction costs, further burdening taxpayers and utility customers. For example, the decommissioning of the San Onofre nuclear generating station in California is estimated to cost around $4.4 billion, with the process expected to take decades to complete. Safety concerns. Risk of accidents. Nuclear power plants pose a significant safety risk due to the potential for catastrophic accidents. The consequences of such accidents can be devastating, as evidenced by historical incidents like the Chernobyl disaster in 1986 and the Fukushima Daiichi disaster in 2011. These accidents resulted in massive releases of radioactive materials, causing long-term environmental damage and significant health impacts on local populations. Despite advancements in technology and safety protocols, the risk of human error, natural disasters, or unforeseen events leading to a nuclear accident cannot be entirely eliminated. Radioactive waste management. The management of radioactive waste is a critical safety concern associated with nuclear energy. Nuclear reactors produce highly radioactive waste that remains hazardous for thousands of years. Currently, there is no universally accepted long-term solution for the disposal of nuclear waste. Most countries store the waste in temporary facilities, which pose a risk of leakage or contamination over time. The long-term storage and containment of radioactive waste present an ongoing challenge, with potential environmental and health risks for future generations. Security threats. Nuclear power plants and the materials they produce are potential targets for terrorist attacks. The consequences of an attack on a nuclear facility could be catastrophic, leading to widespread radioactive contamination and significant loss of life. Ensuring the security of nuclear plants requires substantial investments in protective measures and constant vigilance, adding to the overall cost and complexity of nuclear energy production. The risk of nuclear proliferation, where nuclear materials are diverted for the development of weapons, also presents a significant global security concern. Lack of sustainability. Finite fuel supply. Nuclear energy relies on uranium, a finite and non-renewable resource. The availability of economically recoverable uranium is limited, and the extraction and processing of uranium ore pose significant environmental challenges. As high-grade uranium deposits are depleted, the cost and environmental impact of mining lower-grade ores will increase, further undermining the sustainability of nuclear energy. Unlike renewable energy sources, which harness inexhaustible natural processes, nuclear energy's dependence on a finite resource limits its long-term viability. Long-term environmental impact. The long-term environmental impact of nuclear energy extends beyond the operational phase of power plants. The extraction and processing of uranium, the construction and decommissioning of nuclear plants, and the management of radioactive waste all contribute to the overall environmental footprint of nuclear energy. The potential for environmental contamination through accidental releases of radioactive materials or improper waste management poses a significant threat to ecosystems and human health. In contrast, renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, and hydroelectric power offer more sustainable and environmentally benign alternatives. Technological stagnation. The development and deployment of nuclear energy technology have not kept pace with the advancements seen in renewable energy technologies. Innovations in solar, wind, and energy storage systems have led to significant improvements in efficiency, cost-effectiveness, and scalability. In contrast, the nuclear industry has struggled with regulatory hurdles, public opposition, and the inherent complexities of nuclear technology. This technological stagnation limits the potential for nuclear energy to compete with more dynamic and rapidly evolving renewable energy solutions. Conclusion. In conclusion, nuclear energy is an expensive, dangerous, and unsustainable option for meeting our future energy needs. The high economic costs associated with the construction, operation, and decommissioning of nuclear power plants, combined with the significant safety risks and long-term environmental impact, make nuclear energy an impractical choice. The finite nature of uranium and the challenges of radioactive waste management further undermine the sustainability of nuclear power. As the world seeks to transition to a cleaner and more sustainable energy future, investing in renewable energy technologies offers a safer, more cost-effective, and environmentally friendly path forward. Emphasizing the development and deployment of renewable energy sources will not only reduce our dependence on fossil fuels but also mitigate the risks and challenges associated with nuclear energy.